come out and let me just say to all of you who are standing with us, and there are so many others that we cannot see, I am here today not just because I believe in common sense background checks, but I'm here today because the blood of the victims who have been gunned down with senseless gun violence demand action right now. We can no longer stand on the sidelines and act as though it's okay for people who do not have the mental capacity to understand the responsibility of gun ownership. We can no longer stand by idly and act like criminals who seek to purchase guns. We cannot stand by idly anymore and watch as our country deteriorates into lawlessness. Why? Because we do not have common sense background checks for people who want to own guns. It's common sense. It's not about Republican. It's not about Democrat. It's not about NRA, ABC, EFG. It's about people, and it's time now for us to take a stand for people. Some people can just talk about this in terms of concepts. My oldest brother served two years in Vietnam. He came back on May the 15th, 1969, and we were all excited because he made it back. He was not killed, he was not lame. We were all excited because he was home. 6 days after he got back, he was trying to stop a fight and was murdered. He survived 2 tours in Vietnam, and he came back to the United States and was murdered. My youngest brother was murdered almost the same way. And what they have in common, in addition to being very close to me and being my siblings, what they have in common is that the people who had the weapons, it's still debatable as to whether or not they would have qualified under common sense background checks. Listen, I spent 29 and a half years. I would have done 30 had it not been for an injury, but I spent that time in service to this country, protecting all of the Constitution, including all of the amendments, and I also protected the Second Amendment. And so to say that common sense background checks will eliminate, or they threaten gun owners, I believe is admirable only for its facetiousness. And so I'm here today to ask those of you who are listening, those of you who will be looking, the blood of the victims cries out to us from the grave. The families of the victims are crying out to us. And they're crying out and they're asking the question, how long? How long? How many more students will have to be gunned down because of someone who is mentally incapable of understanding the responsibility of gun ownership? How long will a woman who is trying to escape domestic violence, how long will she have to run and hide because her perpetrator wants to shoot her with a gun that they probably purchased illegally? How long? How long will we stand on the sidelines and allow people to bully us into believing that money will walk and we can do nothing about passing common sense legislation? How long? The blood of the victims is crying out. And so my challenge to each and every one of us today is to say we will now take a stand. We will stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves. We will stand up for those who are no longer among us. We will stand up and we will stand in the face of those who say it will not happen, and we will tell them it will happen because we've got the fortitude, we've got the faith, and we will stand firm until we are victorious. Common sense background check today.